All right, welcome everybody to the It's Debatable Show with myself, Dave, my buddy Matt, Lungsford. Not Lunsford like everybody else think that it is. It's Lungsford. So this is our very first show, and for our intro, we're just going to talk a little bit about ourselves, how we became friends, how we got this thing started, and how long it's been since we've been wanting to start this fucking thing, and kind of going through a little bit of what we're going to be doing in terms of content. So,
did you turn your
before
mic
we
on?
even started? Yeah, it's on.
I just ruined that.
And the light just turned off. Oh, I can cut and edit it. It's not a big deal. But so before we started recording, I actually wanted to go over with Matt about how we became friends and how we got started. He has no fucking clue. So
yeah, I don't remember
for people that
how we actually met. I remember the basic time period, but one of my favorite things actually, before we get into this, one of my favorite things, because I have such bad memory, I love hearing people's first impressions of me, like the first time they ever met me, what they thought about me, and like the memory that sticks out in their mind is like the first time they met me, and it never fails to give me a solid belly laugh.
So obviously, so for people that don't know who we are, I was in the Army. I joined the Army in 2010. Lucy, when did you join the Army?
I joined in 2008.
Okay, so, honey, it's dead. It's dead. You're not gonna turn it on. Thankfully, I got the ring light. But Jesus Christ, those things die so fast. Anyway, so when I came into the unit, I had already deployed. I deployed before I met Lucy. Basically, I was in a company called Deco and Dagger Co., and then I got switched after deployment to Baker Company. So before I even went into Baker Company, there was always this talk about this guy named Lucy. I thought you were a girl. When they mentioned this, they're like, yeah, you got to meet this guy. Lucy's got tattoos. He's fucking got the greatest hair or whatever. And I was like, man, she sounds kind of hot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit.
Dude, my
cool.
first deployment,
and then
my first deployment is, or right before my first deployment is when I picked up that nickname. And I got put on like the No Soldiers Forgotten list or whatever for like people that might not have family members or whatever sending them care packages. And they put my name down as Lucy. And so I got a care package that was 50-50, like female hygiene products and like male hygiene products. And the lady that sent it to me, she hand wrote a note that said, the only name I got was Lucy, but I know you're in an infantry company, so I'm not sure if you're a girl that's attached to them or if you're a dude. So I took a chance and sent you a little bit of both. So in the middle of Afghanistan, like 110 degrees up in the mountains, no showers, like no bathtubs, nothing. I got bath bombs and like scented candles sent to me by some little old lady.
So you were in the Cornwall, right?
Yeah, my first deployment.
Yeah. Okay. And then and people thought you were a girl too.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then, I mean, I had a little bit less of a masculine physique. I think I was like 125 pounds soaking wet with rocks in my pockets. So
yeah, you were a very skinny guy, but I was too when we first met. I think I don't know. I could not gain weight to save my life until I started deploying, and then working out every day, and then gaining weight. That's just, you know. But now I got the dad bod, so there's no problem now.
Hell yeah.
So before I got there, I thought you were a girl. I just assumed that you worked in supply or something, and then like I just didn't know. And for people that also don't know, like Lucy is straight up infantry, and I am a fire support specialist. Like we work together, but we don't do the same job. I do a lot more cooler things. Anyway, so I mean, we can't lie. I mean, I get to blow up shit for a living.
Yeah, that is true.
But so yeah,
I'm out now, so it doesn't really matter. I'm a civilian, so I get to do.
I'm about to be a civilian, so about to be a civilian, so it's not a big deal. It's a humble brag. So when I first met Lucy, the very first day that we met was I was with one of my new NCOs that I had gotten, and he was like kind of introducing me to people, and then in the back of my head I was like, man, I can't wait to meet this Lucy chick. So I wonder if she's hot. and then at the time I had long hair for Army standard, and you came up to me and was like, hey, you have nice hair. And I was like, hey, thanks, you got nice hair too. And we became friends after that. Like every time we walk past each other in the hallway, we'd always be like, hey, here you are. And then that's it. That's just how we became friends. And then it just so happened that when we went to a training event, we ended up being in the same platoon, and then that kind of just blossomed into a more bigger friendship, and then
real friendship.
Yeah, we talked a lot, and then you got out, and then you became my tattoo artist / barber.
That is me.
Yep, and that's kind of how it started. And then whenever we'd be sitting down doing my hair, or you'd be cutting my hair and then doing my tattoos, we'd always talk about shit. And then eventually just a conversation about we would have very deep intellectual conversations about like conspiracy theories, debates, like politicians and shit. And then something just kind of clicked, and then it was just like, fuck, we should do a fucking show,
Somebody else needs to hear these ideas.
Someone else needs to hear us talk to ourselves.
It's because we have
PP touch chemistry.
Does it one opens and accepts the other, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like Avatar.
Like
just
that's some weird shit. Like they fuck with their ponytails. You know what I mean? That's just a weird thing.
It's a mind meld, bro. Mind meld.
So hot.
So hot.
Anyway,
blue octopus ponytail thing.
Man, we're gonna. I got a feeling like every show that we're gonna do, we're gonna fall down some kind of rabbit hole, and we're gonna go farther than we're supposed to. But
I think that's the good thing about being on podcasts is it's not a whole lot of like you can't talk about this stuff. It's kind of enter at your own risk, like the way YouTube used to be.
I'm a little nervous because there's a lot of snowflakes out there that can't handle certain conversations that we're going to be talking about later on down the road,
We'll link our emails. We'll link our email and our social medias so they can get butt hurt in our DMs.
And let me tell you this right now. We are absolutely 100% going to read hate mail. Absolutely. It's going to be a segment.
Yeah, I say we do that at least once a week. Cause
it's going to be every Friday.
I feel like we're going to get some. It'll be fantastic. Can't wait.
I can't wait. So
yeah, I can't wait.
We're gonna do every Friday is gonna be hate mail day, and then you're gonna tell us why you hate us, and then we're gonna tell you why we hate you just as much.
Or at least why
buy our merch.
Why we think buy our merchandise.
Buy our merch.
We're gonna tell you why we hate you. Just buy our merchandise. It doesn't matter. You'll be all right. Just spend some money on a T-shirt. You'll be fine.
So. Basically, our show is going to be about conspiracy theories, and me and Matt might look the same, but we just wear the same clothes. We don't have the same mind. All right, so it's going to be conspiracy theories, debate topics, politicians, hot topics throughout the week. We're going to be talking about. Honestly, I really can't wait to get into the whole. Is it actually pronounced coronavirus?
Yes, like the beer.
Okay, I want to get into that. And
COVID-19.
Is that what it is? COVID-19?
That's like
it's like the abbreviated version.
Yeah, that's like the medical term for it. The CDC
and then at some point
that, but
at some point we got to get into how Joe Biden is going to actually cure cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's, because that's a promise if he gets into the administration. Alzheimer's. What did I say?
Old timers.
I did not say that. Did I really say that?
This is gonna be where we flip it back in slow motion your mouth.
Just, yeah, input fucking joke here. So I'm telling you right now, be prepared to correct me because I'm going to say some stupid shit.
It's all right.
That's not going to make sense.
Everybody says stupid shit. Everybody says it.
So, kind of go into like, I want to know like what you plan on getting out of this show. I really want to know like what.
Well,
like your thoughts on that.
A brief history of me kind of getting to how I became the type of person I am. I grew up in a super strict Mormon family.
You were Mormon? No shit, really?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. I was Mormon, Church of Latter-day Saints.
My God. Just adds a whole new element to the show.
I know, right? So I come from like a super religious background. And it kind of like, I don't know. Every religion has like its good and bad things. You know, there's a give and take with no matter what situation you're in. But I never really got into it. And I felt like I was kind of playing like the survivalist role in my childhood. Like, you go to church no matter what because that's what we do. Like, it's Sunday, you wake up, you go to church, right? But I don't really think that I ever bought into it wholeheartedly. And then I started kind of drifting away from it after high school. Got into some fights with my parents and ended up moving out and then joining the military. And I've had some pretty crazy situations where you could say that it, like, I was being looked out for, but I've kind of gotten to the point now in my life where I don't really subscribe to any kind of organized religion. I'm more agnostic than I am an atheist. It's not that I don't think that there's something out there. I just don't know what it is. But
so, do you still have a good relationship with your parents?
Yeah, I got a good relationship with them. They just, my mom still tries to talk to me about religion on a pretty much daily basis every time we communicate. And that kind of drives me nuts. But I've learned to kind of just like brush it off and move on to the next topic with them. My dad, not so much. Excuse me, I need an energy drink.
We'll cut that out.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. So I've always been like super skeptical of everything. You know, my dad raised me to be the kind of person to ask questions. So that's what I've always done. And when I started asking some really basic, simple questions when it came to religions, either nobody could answer them, they would deflect it, or they had like, oh, it's all part of God's will. It's all part of God's plan. Like, okay. Like, so just asking like basic, simple questions that couldn't be answered or wouldn't be answered kind of drove me to the point where I was like, okay, this isn't for me. I don't have any desire to do this. So I stopped going to church. But I've always been that person that asks questions, you know? So when something happens in the news, I've always like tried to delve into it and ask those questions that I don't feel like other people are asking. And through doing that, I've learned a lot of really interesting things, studied a lot of interesting things, and come upon quite a bit of discrepancies in stories and in just the way things are portrayed to the public. And so that kind of brought me to the skeptic that I am now. I don't necessarily subscribe to every conspiracy theory, but I think conspiracy theories are healthy because it gets people to look into things and ask more questions than what's just being given to them at face value type thing.
You know, people say, like, especially like people in the past generation, they're saying that we're more dumb because we're so distracted by social media, and I think it's the exact opposite. I think we're a lot smarter than we used to be. I mean, like, think about it. Like, now we have found an alternative to eating meat. I mean, that was something that people really. Well, I think the 90s is when like being a vegetarian became really popular. I mean, obviously it's a lot more popular now, but like nowadays, like there's everything can be plant-based. Your entire diet can be plant-based, and like not just that, but we're like, I asked my dad one time, I was like, Dad, but like before phones and internet, how did you get your information? He would say shit like, he's like, well, you had to go to this building called a library,
Yeah.
and you had to
You
go
do
to
decimal system. You had to find.
yeah, you had to go.
go
You had
through
to
little
you had to find a
cards.
specific decibel by some fuck named Dewey, is what he used to say. some fuck named Dewey, and you know, granted, like if you think about it, we've made libraries, except in colleges, but in like a community library, we have made them, I think, kind of obsolete. I don't even know where the local library is where I live. I have no idea where it is, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
paper.
My wife just
paper
pointed like
books.
down the road as if
Paper
like
books
my
are
wife just
kinda
pointed down the
going away
road
to
as if like I'm.
dinosaur because of the internet.
Well, there's also those crazy like book collectors that love the first edition, and you know, like there's collectors, but I never see anyone reading like a book. Unless, I mean, it might just be because I don't people watch that much.
Oh, I people
But
watch all the time. That's some of the best times.
at
I have.
Walmart, I do.
Well, people watch anywhere. I don't give a shit. I'll comment on it too. And my wife is always smacking me. She's like, "You gotta stop talking so loud." And I'm like, "I don't care if he hears me. What's he gonna do? Come up and spit in my face? That's just a fist fight. Let's go."
So, you know, you said that you were Mormon. I grew up Southern Baptist, and I grew up in a very, I ain't gonna say very small, but it was a pretty small town in Gaston County, North Carolina.
If
And
if you refer to the area you grew up by the county and not the name of the place, like not the name of the city or the town, it's a small town. Like if
It's pretty
the
small.
only way anybody knows where it is by the county name, it's small.
yeah, it's fucking small. And like I grew up Southern Baptist. I grew up in like every Sunday go to church as a little kid and wear fucking nice clothes that I never would fucking wear, and like I had specific shoes for church.
Yep.
Like it's
Yes, dress shoes.
just weird. And then dress shoes, fucking weird, man. Like God cares about what you're wearing. They used to wear fucking drapes and sandals, but I have to wear a button up that's fucking uncomfortable and choking the shit out of me, and barbecue shoes. They were comfortable. Wasn't that
Barbecue
bad? But
shoes.
that's what I called them.
That's probably because you're from
and
the
then-
South. So like the fanciest you
Probably.
ever get is a wedding and a barbecue, and both involve lots of beer.
And sometimes they're on the same day.
Yeah.
And then I grew up in the youth group, so I played like acoustic guitar in the youth band and did the worship band. And then it wasn't until I joined the Army when I started realizing I'm not gonna say I questioned everything, but I started asking, like, kind of like myself, like, what I believe in, is it real? And like I question this kind of thing all the time, and I hate it because my parents are super religious. I ain't gonna say super religious, but they're religious, and my in-laws, grandparents, aunts, uncles, they're religious, and they ask me if I believe in God, and I usually say I don't know, because I really don't know. And people always say the Bible proves that it's real, and
See, that right there, that's one of the things that kind of irks me about anybody's religion. All right, so let's say the Bible is proof that it's real, right?
mm-hmm.
What is quantifiable about the Bible that makes it more true than any other ancient text? Because Hindus have ancient books, Muslims have ancient books, Christians have ancient books, So why is it that one is an acceptable form of proof, but the others aren't? Because you go into any church, and Mormons included, Mormonism is the one true version of Christianity. Catholicism is the one true version of the Christian religion. Southern Baptist is the one true version. Like everybody has the true version of it, but they're basing it off of stuff that applied to any other religion isn't enough to qualify it as proof. Like if an old book qualifies it as being proof that it was around, then Lord of the Rings is a religion.
Hey, someone might fight you on that shit, okay?
I mean, they might. I mean, Star Wars is You could be a Jedi Knight on your dog tags. Like Viking is now a religion for service members. It just
Well, since we're on the topic of religion anyway, I mean, like, what about the fact that so people consider the generation before us as being maybe not directly before us, maybe before our parents, that they were feeble-minded and let's just call it what it is. Like they were very like straightforward in terms of like racism and treating people differently because of the color of their skin, right? That's just during like I think my parents and maybe the parents before them, like that was their life. Like they treated people differently because of the color of their skin. What do you think it was like 2,000 years prior to that? Like how smart could those people have possibly been? Could have been, and then could it be crazy that they tried to make things more like civilized and created a religion based on like people were just going around killing each other, but then some guy that can do magic and is supposedly the son of God can forgive you of those sins and will smite you if you don't repent?
So I've actually done like a metric fuck ton of research into this because this is something that I've kind of like something that I've thought about quite a bit. There is physical proof and evidence, like text from like legitimate pieces of paper from that time period that prove that Jesus Christ was a real person, that there was a dude named Jesus, that he was born in Bethlehem around the same time period, right? So there's proof that there's somebody named Jesus that walked the face of the earth at one point in time, right?
Yep.
After this dude Jesus died, right?
Yep.
From then on out, it's a telephone game. Okay? Nobody has any fucking clue what this guy said. Nobody has any clue what he was talking about. And the best recollection that anybody has is from a dude that decided to write the scriptures like 20 something years after this dude Jesus died. So the best recollection that we have is some dude recanting every conversation that him and a bunch of other people ever had with this dude without keeping a day-to-day log about it. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. Like,
so you're saying it was a cult?
I don't know that it was necessarily a cult, but I do know for a fact that anybody that says they know that Christianity is the one true religion, they know that being a Muslim is the one true religion, they know that Buddhist is the one true religion, they're all full of shit because nobody actually knows. Anybody that says they know is full of shit because what is knowing something? Knowing something is having proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know that 1 + 1 is 2 because if you have one egg and then you have another egg and you put them right next to each other, now there's 2 eggs. You know that that's true. But nobody knows what happens after you die. Nobody knows, like, if there's a heaven. Nobody knows if there's a hell. It's impossible to know. And it drives me crazy when people say, I know this is true. Like, no, you fucking don't, Becky. Shut up.
And what is their only proof of that? The Bible says so.
Their Bible or their own personal experiences. So it's all anecdotal evidence, which is not.
Isn't there like
fact.
10 different versions of the Bible? Like I don't know that for sure. I don't know how many actual
There's a
versions
lot of
there
different
are.
versions.
But there's like King James. There's Old, New.
Well,
let's be real. The New Testament isn't that new.
Old Testament and the New Testament are just 2 separate books inside the Bible.
I think the Old Testament describes God as being kind of a dick, and then after the birth of his son, he kind of becomes a good guy. That's kind of like what someone kind of boiled it down to.
I feel like that could be pretty much any dude. Once he has kids, he kind of calms down a little bit. It just I don't know, man. It drives me nuts when people start talking about religion because nobody actually knows anything. You know, nobody knows for sure what's gonna happen. And for you to base your entire life and how you do things off of the fear that somebody might get mad at you in the next whatever is after this, I think is fucking stupid, you know? And if there is a God, I don't think he's worried about premarital sex or masturbation. I think if there's an all-knowing, all-powerful being that's paying attention to what's going on around here, like, where the fuck is he? First of all, shit's getting wild out there. And second, I don't think he's peeling the roof off of your house and shaking his finger at you telling you don't touch your weenie. Like, I think he's got better things to do than worry about somebody finger blasting their butthole. I just...
Oh my god. Finger blasting their butthole. Oh man. We're getting deep in this one.
Dude, I get fired up about religion, dude. It drives me nuts. It's
like, did you see that video? I think a lot of people seen it. It's that one where it's like, I'm trying to help you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, that is the funniest video on the internet, by the way. No video tops that shit. But secondly, like,
she's like a female.
But Christians.
She's like a female version
Christians
of
act this way.
What's his fucking name? Oh my god. You talking to me, fucker? You talking to me? That fucking dude from Meet the Parents. I can't.
Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
I mean, no. Robert De Niro.
Thank you.
Completely different people. Oh man, I fucked that up. Sorry, Leo.
Yeah, I think that's a disservice to DiCaprio. Yes,
fucking Leo,
De Niro.
Man. Yeah.
I'm trying to help you, fucker. She does that face too. She like turns her head to the side. She's like,
yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck is that shit? She's having a stroke in the middle of the store. I'm trying to help you, motherfucker. But like, people act that way. And I remember, like, so I had two different kind of like preacher, pastor, whatever you want to call them, scandals. The first one, he was running the church and he was stealing money from the church fund or whatever, the offering, and blaming it on because he was a blind guy, right? And he was like saying that it was for his condition, which he was blind. He ran into shit all the time. It's really fucked up. I'm sorry, man. I forgot his name now. But then there's another preacher. No, I didn't do that because I was a good church boy back then.
If he catches it, he's not blind. Oh man. Just sitting there throwing sacrament crisps at him, little biscuits.
Oh gosh. Oh, that was funny. All right, back on track. What was I saying? Okay, so there's another one. He apparently
same dude
was no. This is. So I went to one church as a kid, and that's the one that had, or like to the beginning stages of being a youth member. I think my teenager. I might have been 13 or 14, and then the next church I went to. This is when I had to have been at least 16 or 17 maybe, and the preacher of that place was having an affair with his wife with one of the choir singers, the choir singers, and the preacher and the pastor, is it preacher or pastor? Or is it just the same thing?
It depends on the religion.
Whatever. I think I'm going to say preacher, but the preacher is supposed to be like essentially like like God's chosen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
he's supposed
like
to be
when
like
I was seeing that,
he's supposed to be like the dude,
the representative of God. Yeah, and like when I saw this kind of thing going on, I'm like, is this shit like real? Because I mean, there's no definitive way to show that this is real, for one, but two, if these are people that I'm looking up to and that I'm not working, obviously I'm not getting paid to be a youth leader and a worship band person, like, but if I'm essentially kneeling every day to serve and I'm seeing this, like, granted, I get that there's bad apples everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, this is a little over the top, and it was overwhelming, and it's the reason why I got out of being a church boy. And then, like, obviously my first deployment, I was kind of, praying every day because whatever, and then I think after that deployment, I stopped realizing that shit was real, and I started questioning my own religion, my own faith, and I kind of got out of it, and
I think
just
I think
because
a lot of
nothing
people
makes
do
sense.
that though. I think a lot of people do that because if you look back on history, religion is a tool that has always been used to control people, to control the masses, and to like hold specific people down, or to push ideas away, to kind of funnel
The Santa Claus theory.
yeah, to kind of funnel the thought process in a specific direction.
Mm-hmm.
In like medieval times, like you don't defy the king because he's the mouthpiece of God. He was selected by God to rule those people, right? And so through history, you kind of see this progression of people outgrowing religion, and 30 or 40 years ago, I don't think the atheist movement was anything near what it is nowadays, because people just didn't question it back then. It was like you were more confined and more consolidated to your own area of the world, and the people that you're around is kind of what you mimic, right? So if you didn't have access to the internet, you didn't join the army, and you stayed in your small town, you stayed there, and you met somebody in that small town or from the town next door, you guys got married, you had kids, and you moved into a house down the street from your parents' house, you'd still be surrounded by the same people, you'd still be going to the same church, you'd still be doing the same fucking thing because that's comfortable. That's what you do. You wake up Sunday morning, you get dressed, you go to church, right? And I think that's what a lot of people do. But now people wake up and they get a wild hair and they move to a different state, they move to a different country, they go travel, they go do all this stuff. They have access to the entire world at their fingertips through technology. And it's interesting to see how, as technology grows and becomes more easily accessible around the world, how fast religion kind of falls to the wayside and people just grow up. People just move out of it, And my mom used to ask me, she's like, well, what are you going to do for your kids? Like, are you going to raise your kids as Mormon? Or are you going to raise
I'm going to
your
let
kids
them
as Christian?
decide.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to teach them whatever. Like, if they have questions, I want them to learn. I'm not going to tell them that God doesn't exist, because that's not for me to decide for them. I think
I'm going to let them decide.
Yeah, I think everybody at one point in time needs religion to help them get through something, because the prospect that this is it is terrifying for some people, like
For me, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so you mean that when I die, that's it? I'm gone? Like, that's it?
Yep.
That's scary for people.
All that hard work I did for fucking nothing.
Yeah. Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse.
That's like the one thing that really like makes me upset about government. It's because like, there's always that saying like you only live once, but the government is going to have a piece of that shit. You know what I mean? Like if we could just live in a free world and we just had all this stuff for free and everybody was just given a house to live in, like I just feel like the world would be a happier place. Obviously there's going to be bad apples everywhere you go, but it's just like with religion, it kind of pisses me off. It's like, dude, I'm going to live this life, but I can't have any fun. Like you're telling me that a place that you don't know that it's real or not. You're saying that it's real because you truly believe that it's real. But I don't know that it's real. There's nothing you can do to prove to me that it's real. But I got to do what you say and not have. Let's be real. It says that God allows you to have fun or whatever, but it ain't real fun. Okay? Like, it's not. Let's call it what it is. It's pretty fucking boring, right? And
Well, look
and this
at
whole
look at just the basic tenets of religion. Now, every religion is different, but for the majority, it's stuff that people should already be doing anyways. You know, like, just don't be a shitbag. Don't be a piece of shit. Like, the golden rule.
and
I
don't steal from people.
Yeah, the golden rule, like, treat everybody the way you want to be treated. I'm pretty sure, like, I was taught that in grade school, and I don't think that. I don't think Catholicism or Christianity has a monopoly on that thought process. I think that's kind of just like, don't be a dick, and people won't hate you.
This might sound stupid and very elementary, but I completely think the Da Vinci Code is real. Like, it makes too much sense.
Well, and that's kind of the basis of conspiracy theories, though, is you know what the end is, and then you kind of rework it backwards to try to figure out how it happened. And that's the basis of like 90% of conspiracy theories, and why so many people believe in them. You know, something like 30. I'd have to check, but I think the statistic that I heard was something like 30% of U.S. don't believe that we ever went to the moon.
That's a rough one. I mean, I think we did go to the moon.
I don't know.
Does Dave believe that the fucking people went to the moon? You'll find out next week.
No, Dave does believe, because Dave just said he believes.
I don't know. I could change my mind. Maybe I'll watch a nice YouTube video proving me wrong.
Yeah. It's debatable.
It's debatable. Trademark, watermark, copyright. Don't take that shit. That's ours. TM. So one other thing is so you growing up, obviously you grew up Mormon. What were your teenage years like? Like after, like I can't imagine you in high school. I don't know why. Just can't. I don't think you existed. I think you were born, and then you grew up to be 23 years old.
Yeah, and then that's when you met me.
Yeah.
No, my teenage years were pretty crazy. Now, crazy from like a Mormon standpoint. So not crazy compared to the rest of the world. Crazy, like I wasn't getting arrested or anything like that, but crazy from like a Mormon religious standpoint, you know. I drank energy drinks. I had caffeine. I had sex. I would go out drinking, like go to parties and drink and stuff. I had a few cigarettes. I smoked a little bit. I smoked the devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce? What the fuck?
Electric lettuce.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but the majority of my, like, on the outside, I don't know, I kind of just like wore this huge mask, you know? So around school and stuff like that, I was a real quiet kid. I just did my schoolwork and went home. Didn't really have a whole lot of like really, really good friends. And most of the friends that I did have, I knew through the church. And they couldn't go do a whole lot of stuff. So I was kind of limited on what I was able to do. But it was a lot of sneaking around, a lot of sneaking out of my parents' house in the middle of the night, driving over to my friend's house, and then we'd go somewhere. So just basic, like, stupid high school kid stuff, you know?
Right.
But it was all, like, hiding who I actually was as a person, like, who I was inside, just to make living at my parents' house kind of survivable. Because at 15, 16 years old, if I had told my parents that I didn't believe the church was true, I would have spent hours upon hours upon hours talking to them, talking to religious like figures, talking to whoever, to have them kind of force feed me the religion just so I could regurgitate it a week later and be like, yeah, I believe the church is true, you know? So
yeah, man,
it was just acting. It was a whole lot of acting.
I don't know. Definitely when I was growing up as a teenager, I definitely did not act. I fully was into it. I believed it. I went to Bible study. I went to church on Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday would be for band practice and a little bit of Bible study, and then Wednesday for the actual day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went Sunday for regular church. And it's just like I was absolutely into it. I definitely was not acting. And then when I started questioning, like, is this shit real? Like, because man, if you think about it, like now I don't know how it is anywhere else, but there are like, what is the like, especially for people like us who that don't have a religion, but like, what do most church people that go to church say? Everyone in church is shady as shit.
Mm-hmm.
If if these are God loving people and everybody love everybody, why is there so much drama? Why is there always somebody
Dude,
saying shit that shouldn't be said?
Are the most judgmental people on the face of the fucking planet.
Absolutely.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what church you go to, and it's fucking ridiculous. Like, you're the one book that you hold as like the tenet of your entire existence. The main thing in there, like the one string that you can rope through every single fucking lesson in that book, is love everybody no matter what. But
Yeah.
what ends up happening? They're like, oh well, Cheryl, she took the sacrament and she didn't repent for this. I saw her drinking a caffeine soda this weekend at the barbecue. You know, like, who
There's
gives
always
a
a fucking
fuck?
Cheryl.
Who cares, dude? Like, just live your own fucking life. Who gives a fuck? And the thing that pisses me off the most about that is that it's not just like one, it's not like self-contained to like this family doesn't like this family. It's like inside of the families. It's like the parents are judging the kids are judging their siblings. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And it ruins relationships, it ruins friendships, it ruins families, because everybody is so fucking worried about what everybody else is doing that they get wrapped up in this like little judgy game, and now you're actually a shitty person because you're trying to like play the holier than thou game and make sure that the other people are doing what they're supposed to. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. I lost a friend in middle school because the mom or dad or whoever found out that I was a Baptist and they're Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, and obviously I'm young, and when I go to that person's house to pick up something, I was like, so you guys don't want me here anymore because I'm not Catholic? And they're like, yep, pretty much. And I'm like, but if I love Jesus the same, like, and you love Jesus, why can't we just get along?
It's because the way you love Jesus is different than the way they love Jesus.
Yeah, I get that there are people
you do it
like
differently.
there's good Christians that are like, that don't think that way. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I love Jesus. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not saying that every Christian is the same, because they're not. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of people out there that are like, if you are not a Catholic, then you can't. Like, there are strict people in terms of the way that they think that Jesus should be worshipped, and it's just, it is insane.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, it's just fucking crazy. But as you can tell, like, religion for me definitely, like, it ran my life. It made me who I am today. I mean, I think it made me a better person. Granted, I might have steered away from Christianity, but I don't regret it. I don't regret ever doing it. I don't regret ever experiencing it.
I would agree with that. I think, like I said when we first started the topic, every religion has good things about it. You know, every religion has good lessons to be learned, and it's not for everybody, and that's okay. It really is. It's okay.
Think about the lone survivor.
Yeah.
You remember I did not read the book, but as the story goes, the guy that was in that village, because of his religion, is the reason why Marcus Luttrell survived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a good point to saying, like, every religion has a good thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you know.
And then, well, getting into the rest of that religion. Every religion,
you guys need to relook that book.
Has good lessons, but if you strictly devote your life and live your life to fulfill your religion, I think you're missing out on a lot of stuff. And I think your life isn't going to be fulfilling in the way that you want it to be or need it to be. And I don't think that you're ever going to be truly happy, because the most religious people on the face of the fucking planet that I have ever met are miserable cunts. Miserable fucking people. They're just angry.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
All the fucking time. Like, and they're always like, every time I see like a super religious person, I think of, what's his name? Cardinal Richelieu from Three Musketeers. Just like, yeah, like fucking ridiculous, dude. Just like nose turned up at the air, like I'm the only one that's living my religion the way it's supposed to be done. And it just
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I'm glad you brought that up because it reminded me of something. What do you think about the people? Now, I don't know all their names, but the big one that I know of is Joel Osteen, which is the
televangelists.
Televangelist.
Oh
what do you?
dude.
Let me get your opinion on this, because I'm going to give you mine, but like, give me your opinion about the fact that.
You want my opinion? Here's my opinion.
Yeah, just give me my opinion.
Those dudes are the most intelligent con men on the face of the fucking planet. By far, the most intelligent con men on the face of the planet. If that shit really worked, they wouldn't be doing their little miracles in these mega stadiums. They'd be going to children's hospitals. They'd be going to
absolutely.
They'd be going and healing actual people. They wouldn't be pulling up these brainwashed loony bins and pushing them over on stage talking in tongues. Like, and then you look at these dudes' fucking houses. God wanted me to have a Learjet. God wanted me to have this 60 acre farmhouse. Like, no, you got that shit because you told somebody to pay you as proof of their belief in your religion. Those dudes are the most intelligent con men on the face of the fucking planet, second only to the people that believe in climate change and push the climate change narrative. And we'll get into that on another day.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be a debate that we have right there. All right. So I had looked at one. It's not even a theory; it's an absolute fact. But there was a televangelist that was healing people on the stages, and he was saying like, oh, there isn't there like a. You remember those TV psychics that used to be like a big thing? Like, oh, over here I'm feeling a name, Peter. You know what I mean? And then that South Park episode came out, like Stan was doing it, and it's just like he can prove that he could do it too. But anyway, so there was a televangelist. Actually, I'll be honest, I don't even know if it was actually on TV. I think it was just a church that was doing it, but it had a huge following. Like, they were doing it in big arenas. And basically what the situation was is that the wife, because obviously there was like these prayer cards, like, hey, what do you want us to pray about for you? And like you fill it out like, oh, my dad and this person has cancer or whatever. So to prove that God was talking to him, he would get his wife or a friend or whatever would talk in an earpiece that he had on stage, saying like, hey, Carol has lung cancer, whatever. And then so people actually believed that God talked to this dude, even though his wife was speaking to him in an earpiece.
It was just Sally in a microphone.
And she was in a van of all fucking places. Not even a church van. It was a white, plain rape van.
Windowless
you know what I mean?
van. Like, the best things happen in windowless vans. I don't know if you know that or not.
And not just that, but then there was another one
solved in windowless vans.
Jesus Christ. But then there was another one where it's a whole different church, and basically this church was hiring, and I literally mean loony bins. Like, they literally went to insane asylums. Maybe not insane asylums. That might be a little far-fetched, but it was like
anymore, but mental
that's
health
not what I meant. I meant like mental health facilities, people that were in therapy. Maybe they were on the verge of getting out or whatever, but they'd be like, hey, if I pay you this amount of money, will you come to my church and pretend to be healed by me? Like, I hit you in the forehead, you fall, and you're all of a sudden healed. Like, I'm just, seeing that part, like telling people, like if it's so simple for a pastor or a preacher to say, God speaks to me, I can hear him, I can feel him, and then they blatantly get proved that they lied. If it's so easy to do that, how far-fetched is it to just make up the fact that God's real?
Dude, okay. I agree with you on that. The whole thing is, I consider it a mass hysteria, because it's like I don't know, dude. It's the same thing with pretty much anything else, though. You get a group of people together that all believe the same thing, and their belief in that, whatever it is, their belief system grows and intensifies because they have these other people around them that believe the same exact shit, you know? And it happens in cultural settings, it happens in business settings, it happens in religious
Happens
settings.
in military.
It happens in the military. Like, oh, like, the U.S. is the greatest fucking country on the face of the planet, you know? And then you've got all these other, like, red-blooded Americans, like, hard-throbbing fucking dicks in the same room wearing camouflage, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know? And is it a bad thing? No, it's not always a bad thing. I personally think that the U.S. is the greatest country in the world. Are other countries doing stuff that's fantastic? Yeah, for sure. Are we doing things that are fantastic? Yeah, we sure the fuck are. Are we doing some shit that's pretty stupid? Yeah, we are. But what I'm saying is, like, you get a group of people together that all believe the same thing, and it intensifies their belief in whatever it is that they share. And it grows and it grows and it grows. And that's all this is. Like, getting 100,000 people in a football stadium all huddled around this one dude with a microphone, screaming in tongues, waving snakes around, and fucking smacking people in the forehead. Yeah. It's just, like,
now,
watching it on TV is one thing. Being there in person, there's, like, the energy of the crowd. It's the same reason why people go to sporting events. It's the same reason why people go to concerts. Is because there's something about, like, being in a room full of people that all, like, praise and believe the same fucking thing.
By the way, go support your fucking local bands. Stop stealing music on the internet. It's not a thing anymore. Jesus Christ. Go support your local bands, okay? Anyway, here's another thing, too, I kind of wanted to touch up on. Is, like, we're not trying to say that Christians are evil and they suck, right? We're just trying to say we understand that there are good Christians. Suck. We understand that there are bad ones. People just suck. People have been sucking for thousands of years, and they continue
since
with
Adam and Eve. Since the beginning.
How fucking hard is it not to eat an apple? Like, apples aren't that great. They leave your mouth dry.
And a snake told her to do it, dude.
My God, what kind of devil lettuce was she smoking?
Yeah. Just some fucking electric cheese.
And Moses talking to a burning bush. You know what I think that is? I think that's a euphemism for he was burning some bush.
Yeah, he was on LSD or something.
Did I say that word right? Is it actually called? Is it euphemism?
Yeah.
Euphemism. Okay.
Euphemism.
I'm not gonna say it again. I'll probably butcher. Yeah. See, I definitely didn't say it right. Someone's gonna fuck on me with that one. So, but like, I just don't. I'm sorry, but the people aspect changed my perspective on Christianity. Now, obviously, I looked into it myself, and I personally just don't believe that there is a God. I think it's just a coincidence that we're here, and there really is no reason for us to be here except just to live and be put in the fucking ground and to have fun doing it. And I mean, if there is a God and I have to meet my maker one day, and I have to explain to him that, like, I made a mistake, then I made a mistake. But
see,
I just don't think so.
I think that's the big difference between, we'll call them believers and non-believers, though, is that I'm the same way. I don't think that there is a God. I don't believe that there is a God. I have nothing in my life that is, like, pure shining proof that there's a creator. I think that the human body, just as itself, is, like, crazy intricate, and it probably would have taken 1,000,000 years to get breathing life to a point where we could talk and we could build things with our hands and stuff like this, like where we are today, you know? But I think the big difference between believers and non-believers is that 90% of non-believers are like, yeah, I don't know, man, there might be, and if there is, I'm glad I'm wrong, you know? But believers are like, nope, this is it. That I know this is true. This is 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
God's out there. There's a heaven. There's a hell. And because you don't believe, you're going to it. Later, dude. Peace.
Speaking of heaven, how is she?
She's all right.
So people don't know his wife is actually named Heaven.
Yeah.
And I've been calling her Haven for the longest fucking time.
I don't know how you got that.
I just never thought that someone would be named Heaven. You know,
Haven? Haven made more sense in your head.
It sure did. It sure fucking did.
Haven.
Oh, man. Hey, it's better than, like, when I go to fucking Starbucks and then, like, they get my wife's name wrong. It's Alma. Alma. But somehow, people call her Llama. Just...
Like you forgot.
Is Llama in the room?
Like the A is silent, or somehow you don't know how to spell your own name.
I don't fucking know. But it's not far-fetched for me to think that Haven... I don't know. Safe Haven? You know? Just... Is her family religious?
Yeah, we both grew up Mormon, and are obviously
No shit.
not anymore.
Man, that is crazy. And now, let me... I don't know if I'm right on this, but the person that discovered Mormonism or whatever, his name is John Smith. Is that right?
Joseph Smith. John Smith was with
Joseph.
Pocahontas. And they actually never met in history. I just want to point that out. Disney did that. Like, Pocahontas was here, and then John Smith was, like, here somewhere after her. Like, that never actually happened. Anyway, yeah, Joseph Smith. So, a quick, brief rundown of Mormonism. Joseph Smith lived in upstate New York, and he was going to church with his family and had a lot of the same questions that you and I have. Why is there so many different religions, but everybody seems to interpret the same thing differently, and which one's right? So he decides to take his Bible and trot off into the woods one day, and he's sitting there and he decides to say a prayer. He says, God, I need a sign. I need something to show me what the true religion is, because all of these different pastors and preachers are saying the same thing but explaining it differently, so I don't know who to believe. And at that point, God and Jesus Christ appear to him in a beam of light above his head and tell him that none of them are true, that all of them have a piece of the truth, but none of them have the complete word of God. So then, after they get done telling him that little nugget, they tell him that in a couple of days he'll be visited by an angel, and this angel will tell him where to find these gold plates that have what eventually becomes the Book of Mormon. They'll have scriptures on them, and Joseph Smith is chosen by God to translate these golden plates into an actual book. So there's some stipulations about these gold plates. Joseph Smith is the only person that's allowed to see them, and he uses a hat and some stones. They call them seer stones, in order to read and translate these golden plates, which he does. He puts up a sheet in his bedroom, little security partition, right? And he's sitting on...
Whack shack.
Yeah, a whack shack. He's sitting on one side of it, and his wife is sitting on the other side, and eventually one of his other confidants. But he goes into the room by himself, pulls these plates out, puts them on the desk, puts the sheet up, and then tells them they can come in. And so he starts translating these golden plates into a book. And
get the fuck. This sounds like the worst trip ever. Like, just, dude, like the worst drug trip there ever was.
I'm telling you that's how it happened. So there was one. I can't remember. There's one guy, he took like an impression of the plates. Like, Joseph Smith gave him an impression of the plates, and he took that impression to like some university, like some prestigious university at the time, and Joseph Smith found out about it, and he was like, okay, you can't help me with this anymore, and like kicked him out, and he's like, you're done. So Joseph Smith organizes this entire church and comes up with like this entire religion based off of what these plates say. He starts teaching from this book, and this church starts to grow and get huge. They start getting persecuted in upstate New York, like getting like members of the church start getting the shit beat out of them and get tarred and feathered and stuff like that. And so the local community basically chases him and the rest of these Mormons out of New York because of their beliefs. So then they go to Missouri, and in Missouri, Joseph Smith and his brother and I think one or two of his friends, like his confidants, get captured and get put in a prison in Carthage City. And then a couple days go by, and an angry mob storms the prison and kills them in the prison. And then the rest of the church gets up. Somebody else takes over the church. This dude, Brigham Young. You've heard of BYU, Brigham Young University?
Yep, Brigham Young University.
It's Mormon schools.
Yep.
So Brigham Young ends up taking over, and he picks up the entire church and moves them. They go on a trek and move to Salt Lake City, Utah. And that's where it settles and spreads and goes all over the fucking world. So now they've got...
Okay.
I think it's somewhere around like 500 temples, and these temples are fucking ridiculous, dude. They've got like $500,000 chandeliers. Like the whole inside of the temple is like made out of marble and gold and like ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, me and my wife actually went there. I just didn't know what it was. It said the Church of Mormon or the
Church of Jesus Christ
House
of
of
Latter-day
Mormon.
Saints.
Yeah, and it was nice, dude. I went to the cathedral in Munich, and that place was nice, but this place was way better. It was just I'm surprised the sports center wasn't on in this fucking place. Like, it was just so fucking nice, and I was like, my God, maybe I should be Mormon. I don't know, but yeah, man, that's crazy. That's a funny ass story though. Like, that's just wow. If Far-Fetched had a story, that would be the definition of it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And I'm sure I got some of the details wrong because I haven't tried to explain that religion in I don't know how many years, but for anybody that's listening or watching, if I got something wrong or you want to elaborate on something, go ahead and post a comment to our
fucking idiot. Page. Like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. It's more dumber than that, all right? Like, it's way crazier. Way more unbelievable. Oh, man. So anyway, that's me and
religion,
Lucy.
Dude. Religion, man. We started out talking
Hey, it
about,
made us...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we are the way we are, but we started
religion
talking about,
started
like,
it all.
A background story of where we came from and got into this huge mine shaft of religion. But all right, guys, I think that'll probably do it for us today. We're gonna catch you on the flip side.
We're gonna sign off here.
Yeah, every 2 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I guess not every 2 days. New episodes, new
every
content.
other day.
Yeah, new episodes, new content. Go ahead, message us, follow, like, subscribe, do your thing, put notifications on, whatever.
And be sure to send us hate mail. We don't have a successful channel if you don't fucking send us hate mail.
Yeah.
Roger?
I'm
okay?
pretty sure
I'll stop doing that.
We'll get some good ones. But
I can't wait.
Anything you guys want to hear us talk about, kind of expound on, send us either comments, send us emails, or go on our social media and post stuff on there. All right. You guys think there's something that we should pay attention to? Go ahead and tag us in whatever it is, and we'll get around to it. All right. I think next we're going to talk about coronavirus and maybe some conspiracy theories. All right. So next episode.
I think we're going to talk about climate change.
Yeah, climate change.
The next time.
Fat shaming, climate change.
All right, guys.
all sorts of stuff.
Fat shaming.
It's gonna be good.
Oh man, what a fucking world we
Alright.
live in. All right,
Yeah.
all right,
Hope you guys
guys.
enjoyed.
It's debatable.
It is.
It's debatable. First episode 01.
Yeah.
001.
EP 01.
All right, guys. All right, guys. See ya.